Sorry, crossing my legs under this table is always a little dangerous. I had a weird time last night trying to fall asleep. I mean, I often do, and, I'll listen to meditative music or chakra meditation or, often do something like that to just, take my mind off the day, off focusing on all this bing, 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 bing kind of monkey mind stuff, trying to process what happened during the day and hand it over to the, unconscious. You're processing it. Let's see what you have to say. Last night, though, and I finally think I got a handle on it a little bit, in the sense of understanding it a little bit. I was, sorry. I was all revved up about, we got another town meeting, town meeting coming up that will likely be very contentious. And, for some reason I was having a really disproportionate response to it. I mean, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. And it started to, the anxiety, the fear started to bleed into other, I realized other traumatic things were coming up. This meeting will be a bit traumatic. We all expect it to be. There's usually a lot of rage and a lot of yelling and a lot of recriminations, and it's going to be very, very hostile. And I realized where my brain was going was basically to big traumas I'd had around hostile shouting people, like from my early days. And I think trauma does that. You get triggered by something because it resonates with the place in you that is traumatized. And this was a public version of that childhood private situation. The enraged adult that I couldn't control and couldn't really separate from, because she, this was a caretaker. Somehow that pattern was sort of superimposing upon this situation of just like a group of people who are pissed. And in the way I tried to sort of calm and placate the raging adult way back when, I felt like a responsibility to calm and placate this raging crowd. And, it was just put me in this crazy place. And I managed to, get to sleep eventually, but I knew last night and again this morning, I need help with this. This has actually brought up stuff that I haven't, it's shadow work. It's scary stuff I haven't dealt with. And I really don't want to, because it's like kicking up your own pond silt, And when you feel like you finally gotten to a place of peace with some stuff, then to go back and look at the core memories around which, that involve this trauma. And I haven't really gotten beyond that, except that I booked a counseling appointment, and I told who I had to tell, I can't show up for this meeting right now. I'll do other things. I'll do research. I'll be the consigliere. I'll pray for us. I'll whatever. But I can't right now go in there. I can't right now go in there and deal with the anger of all these people. because I'll really take it on. I already have. I'm already in a place of like, because it reminds me of the shouting people, the shouting person. So there's something about that. And then I started thinking about trauma bonds as another kind of a word for, you know, when sometimes when we meet somebody else, because we're all traumatized, we've all got the trauma, right? We do. And we've processed it to varying degrees and have more or less peace in our life around that triggery stuff. When we meet somebody, and particularly if we like them, but we bond somehow in a trauma bond because we're both still traumatized and haven't worked it out. We're both like kind of neglecting certain shadow work that would bring us peace, because we'd bring this dark stuff up and look at it. And trauma has a way of, once it's in the light, it kind of like the Wicked Witch of the West, who you threw water on her and she melted. It's a little bit like that. But it's a face-off with a witch. And it so happens my original raging person came through in my subconscious, in my unconscious, and when I dreamed, I had witch dreams of people, of a caretaker person who would transform into the witch who would try to kill me. So that whole fight or flight thing is just like on high alert in a certain way for looking for that pattern. And I think it's legit when you've acknowledged it. Book this session. I mean, I realize with this counselor person, who's a very nice woman, I like her, we have a fairly good rapport. I have never gone there with her. Ever. At the very beginning, it was COVID, so I only saw her a couple of times and then it shut down. But I've seen her since and just never gone to into shadow work with her. And but I booked the appointment, and as it happens in the way of synchronous whatever, I called because my next appointment was in September. I'm sorry to give you my like mental health schedule, but they had an opening tomorrow. Like while it's fresh in me. So I said, yeah, I'll take it. Even though I'm like hesitant because I'm going in there to do work I've been putting off. Now I feel strong enough to do it. Not both that and the frigging villagers with their torches and pitchforks who are coming for people. I can do that behind the scenes, right? Anyway, so there's something about that. And in a way, all bonds include processed and unprocessed trauma in both peoples. If you get into a situation where you're both traumatized, every unresolved thing comes up in that relationship. It will. And the more you care about the person, the more that stuff will be activated. And it behooves us to look at it best we can so that we can connect to the other person through love and not through trauma. I haven't quite figured out the difference, but I'm big on connecting to people who are in trauma. I think I understand their trauma, but I never look at mine. And anyways, it's just a thing. Whoa, the cards go nuts. So let's just take a peek into that, even though it's sort of like a door. I want to keep it shut. It's a little bit like if you read Narnia, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. You open that door, you're in another place. The place of lions and witches. 2 out. Bottom of the deck, I like that. Chariot. Cancer energy. Cancer is a water sign, to do with feelings, connection, emotion, right? This is somebody in control of their emotions. Not in the sense of stuffing them, in the sense of using them for forward movement, bringing them into balance for forward movement. Internally, so it can happen externally as well. Next card up. Oh my goodness, Magician. 2 major arcana right out of the gate. Chariot is sort of out of the gate energy. This is somebody who's manifesting this emotional freedom, which, doesn't come from stuffing the emotions. It's like you can't really be selective and stuff the scary stuff, but say, oh no, I'm down with the joy. Don't bring me down. Four of Cups. Cups energy, that energy of the Chariot, water. This is a person who is disconsolate, inconsolable. It feels like there is no comfort here. I've been left. I'm alone. And there is a hand, as in traditional Rider-Waite, holding the cup, and she's not seeing it. Or it's not enough, or it's not the right cup, or the right opportunity, or something feels closed off to her. She thinks it's through, they thinks it's through circumstance. It's about her feeling closed off to the possibility of this, the feeling coming back. She's almost numb. The feelings could come back in, but she's kind of doesn't want to look at it. They don't want to look at it. And bottom of the deck, well, 2. I saw the first one, King of Wands. This is a fearless card. It's fire energy, Leo, Sag. That's odd. Leo, Sag, and somebody else who's not coming to mind. That's crazy. This is somebody who takes control, is brave. Forward movement, like that Chariot. A sense of direction. A sense of purpose. I know what to do. I know myself. I'm unafraid. I mean, King of Wands would push right through this, so I'm a little confused. And it may be that King of Wands felt this sadness. King isn't a man necessarily. It's just the energy of someone who was maybe temporarily felt blocked and disempowered because of some kind of numbness, but has manifested this, Magician has manifested this balanced forward movement and feelings out of this, which isn't easy to do. It really isn't. He's reignited life force, having been, what'll sap you of life force? This is a person sapped of life force, really, to the point where they can't Love is there, but they can't feel it. Let's put it that way. And this is somebody coming back to life, into their power. I mean, not just coming back, coming back like the power and the glory. Like the power and the glory from this kind of situation. We have here 3 major arcana out of 5. That's some big energies, and this is the kaboom energy. A revelation, a shakeup. That's a blessing. It may be a blessing in disguise. It's certainly a blessing of surprise. This is not something that anybody is prepared for or expected. But busting out of this mindset, situation, whatever it is, by virtue of this, it's not a light bulb moment, it's a lightning bolt moment. It's like so high voltage, that it resets everything. It's kind of like having your circuit breaker blown. It's overload. Boom, they all go at one, You better have a circuit breaker, in a sense, when this kind of thing hits, because it's big. And positive. It's a liberation. This is what happens. The feelings are felt. They come up. They're regulated. Remember I said the guy up here is driving it. And that doesn't mean like controlling it like, putting somebody's arm behind their back and saying, go this way. But it's allowing the feelings to come up. That 4 of Cups, not numb anymore. There's been a real transformation. And it's something somebody's manifested, but it comes through maybe in an unexpected and sudden way. There's an element of awe in this. There's this sort of holy crap. Holy. Emphasis on holy. But it is like, So can you tell us about this tower? And as it relates to the 4 of Cups, too, that feeling of numbness. Nine of Pentacles. It's actually grounding. I got the image of somebody who was hysterical, and there's a slap, or just something happens in their environment that is an upheaval for sure, a lightning bolt strike. But this person, and we had this just the other day, this person is okay. Stuff comes down around their ears and they're all right. They're stable. They're stable in themselves. So this can happen in the circumstance, as it does, kind of. There are tower moments all over the place. This person stays standing in 3D, because this is a blow kind of to the psyche, a liberation. It's like, I'm getting the image of the geode. There are these rock formations, usually around a crystal formation, like amethyst crystals or something, are on the inside. But they're somehow in the formation of the crystal, or something that happens subsequently, I'm not sure. They end up in this thing that looks like just a stone. You can't see it. If you crack the geode open, and they crack open, they can split quite handily. It's like cracking an egg. There are these crystalline beauties on the inside, the gemstones. And it's a little bit like that. This is like cracking open the geode. of your psyche. And there is a brightness inside, a gemstone inside. And a little bit like, there's a little squirrel down here who's intact. His tail is like a bushy, he's looking up like, it's certainly a surprise. It's a shakeup. The squirrel is still there. Even his the elements of his burrow are still there. His acorns are still there. The pinnacles here are like the acorns. There's still, you're not stripped of all your, the valuable things you've stored up in your storeroom, in your psyche. And this is the same individual reaching for the pinnacle. These are the same people. And I think it's you. This is a card of Virgo. This is a card, Magician of Virgo, Gemini. Card of Cancer. So we have air. God, my brain is slow this morning. Air, earth, water in Chariot. And Tower I look at as Scorpio, because it's that kind of trance. See, the butterflies are sort of liberated. I don't know if you can see them, but there are butterflies in this sort of a chaotic upheaval. It's an upheaval. This person is still standing. She's fine. She, he, they. Tell me about this Four of Cups. What caused the numbness, please? What caused the numbness? Fool. Don't really get that. Eight of Cups. Okay, this is the Cups energy, right? Four of Cups, the numbness. Eight of Cups indicates a walking away, which always implies a walking toward. And I think this indicates somebody who is moving on from this Four of Cups energy in order to be able to begin again, the Fool, to take a risk on that same level of the psyche, to start the journey, brand new. But we'll have to leave behind perhaps the trauma. And I think one of the weird things about it, at least for me, is that sometimes, that sense of loss is what you have left when you didn't get what you want, or the love evaporated, or whatever that Four of Cups was, whatever it was that made you feel numb. Sometimes there's almost the desire to hold on to that loss as the only thing you have left. So you linger in that feeling. Well, somebody's sort of feeling it through to the point where they can let go of it. Not linger there in the loss, but move on to the in search of love, of feeling. From numbness to, I'm on the feeling path. I want love in my life. And I'm going for it, for the new day. And beneath King of Wands, that Fool card. Both fire energy. Aries, Leo, Sag. There we go. I was forgetting Aries. And to me, this is a card of Aries. This is the bold leap forward. Remember I said he's brave? He, she, they is brave. Well, to take the leap involves faith and trust in yourself, who you are at your core. Is the leap worth it? It is to this character. It's a leap out of numbness. Bravely. And I think that bravery proves to be well-founded, because even under this kind of challenge, there's this kind of stability in the world. This happens in the psyche, and this is like landing on your feet or not getting knocked off your feet. Stable in yourself. And on your feet to do this. To leave behind the love that doesn't do it for you anymore. Maybe even saps your ability to feel and leaves you feeling numb. 4 of Cups. You're on your feet. You're moving on. And that's a path you walk. It isn't like, I don't know what else to do, I'll just walk. You're a path walker. You're a path walker. Bottom of the deck, Empress. The principle of creativity, growth, abundance. It's a sign of Taurus, technically, but I see it as all the earth signs and all the queens. All the earth signs. All the queens. It's like the feminine principle in completion. She has the earth in her belly. You know, she creates life. It's all around her. She, he, they. Can a man be in this energy? Absolutely. And really needs to be. We all need the balance of the two. That goes on Tower. So while this might look like destruction, you know, something crashes down, it's actually like the cracking of the geode. I love how this works. The geode is sort of like the earth in her belly. You know, this is the cracking. And it allows this creative life force. I mean, talk about life force. If King of Wands is sort of the masculine principle of life force, do it in the world. This is the world. This is the source, the mother of us all. Okay? On 9 of Pentacles, strength. You know, same as King of Wands, I kept saying this person is brave. This is the same fire energy. This happens to be Leo. Strong fire energy in this reading, and strong, well, strong everything. Magician is all the energies, so I think, yeah, we don't need to worry about that too much, but this individual who's still standing has tapped into archetypal strength. And among other things, strength to me is a card of healing pain. The lion is often depicted as this beast that she's healing. In this one, she's synthesized with the beast and the woman, and there's a lamb here, not a lion. So it's sort of like embodying both lion and lamb energies. And you don't eat yourself up, You're safe with yourself, something like that. And would Knight of Pentacles person be safe with themselves? Yeah. This thing can come down around their ears, and they know they're okay. They know they're okay. They have a faith. They have a core strength. They're protective of themselves, but not like shutting stuff out. It's through compassion. It's through kind of synthesizing your fierceness and your gentleness. Ten of Swords, again, that image of the person walking away. Almost the same. I mean, one's right on top of each other. Walking toward the next love. Walking, closing out the painful cycle. Walking away from that. From what hurt you and made you numb. You're walking back into feelings. You're walking the healing path. Something in sword energy, in a belief system, in words that were said to you. I think that's it. That business I said at the beginning about somebody raging at you. It can be words that were said to you or things that you were made to believe about yourself. It's trauma. Ten of Swords is trauma. But it's wrapping up a cycle of trauma because you've come to understand something about it. And part of what you've come to understand is, I know where love is. I know where love is. I know what I feel. I'm not numb. I'm moving on. I'm closing out the trauma cycle. I like that. On Fool, we have Wheel of Fortune. This is the forward movement on the level of the archetype. This is sort of like the Tower comes. It's like it's actually a creative force. It's the breaking of the egg. It's the breaking of the, the geode. So that you can see the beauty on the inside. This is a forward movement in that the energy of the psyche that, enables you to do this. Enables all of us to do this. And to ride atop the wheel, because fortune, good, bad, whatever, comes and goes. It's a cyclical thing. But throughout that, this person's on top of the wheel, not being thrown off their pins by whatever the Tower represented. Good times, bad times, I've had my share. It's Led Zeppelin. I'm still standing. And that Tower, whatever it was a good thing. It brought out our courage and our strength. It reassured us that we can do this. We can ride sort of the waves. Fool, wheel. Wow. It's like the universe saying, this is karmic destiny, the wheel. you know, you've been brought to this place of forward movement, of forward movement. You're not numb anymore. You don't need to be afraid because you're closing out that cycle and moving on. 8 of Cups. You know, you've synthesized, you've the spirit in you, in your psyche, of ferocity and gentleness has been reconciled. You have compassion for yourself, for your pain, for what you've been through, and for the other guy. Because if you don't have it for yourself, you can't have it for the other guy. If you haven't done your own trauma work, how could you heal? If you haven't healed yourself, how can you enter into a relationship with somebody else and not kind of bring your baggage forth upon them? This is closing out that cycle. This is not bringing it into the relationship. It's starting fresh. And the universe is saying, you know, jump. I'll catch you. And she's, the person riding the top of the wheel is full of joy. Their expression, I don't think you can see it from here, is their body language, everything is just like, and I hadn't noticed that before, but in here, in this depiction, there are many wheels. This is only the latest wheel. Remember I said it's cyclical, it keeps happening. The tower and the recovery. And it doesn't happen exactly the same. It's not as if you circle exactly, you're kind of spiraling up. You're ascending into your own power, courage, ability to feel. No feeling, no power. Feelings kind of, I'm getting like turn the paddle wheel. That water energy turns the paddle wheel. It drives the forward movement in feelings. Drives the forward movement. Really concise reading, basically, there it is. Okay. On Chariot, Ace of Swords. So kind of getting your feelings balanced, getting out of numbness, knowing what to leave behind and what to be pulled toward in feeling energy. Here again we have that lightning bolt image. Ace of Swords, the understanding. It's beyond light bulb, it's lightning. It has that kind of voltage. And this spiral I'm seeing is sort of like the circuit breaker. The thing comes in, boom-a. And in this spiral staircase here is how this person is sort of receiving and you know, processing's not quite the right word, but it's a process, let's put it that way. And so it's both on the feeling level, but that kind of kicks off this new understanding, this Ace of Wands energy. I'm sorry, Ace of Swords. I mean, here's the wand, very prominently in this, but this is the understanding. Okay, on Magician we have, boy, the major arcana are mind-blowing. Ace of Swords, mind-blowing. Judgment, the Ascension. This person is kind of in prayer mode, both releasing and receiving. Got the image, this sort of ghostly image of the rebirth, death and rebirth. We do have a Scorpio-like card on the board, the Tower, the taking down of it. And if this isn't rebirth, I don't know. You know, this is brilliant. This is what somebody's manifesting. New life. New life. New balanced forward movement. New understanding. Somehow clear it, like wiping the slate clean. And I think it's of this numbness. On the numbness, please. Emperor. Divine masculine. You know, in this fire energy, this take charge energy, this is a benevolent guy, though, because he's both emperor, but he's also quite laid back. You know, he's not fiercely leading the charge. I mean, really, it looks like he's in a beanbag chair. I think it's supposed to be Jupiter. But there's this very gentle light coming in and kind of blessing this chess piece in his hand. King. He's all the kings. She's all the queens. So there's a super match here. And a synthesis. And it might be internal, because it is the individual who's strong. But this is a 4 card too, 4 of Cups, and what's on it is Emperor, the 4 in Major Arcana. This is totally the strong. But Emperor's, you know, controlling, again, controlling isn't quite the right word. He's in control. He's not out there doing this. He's not strong-arming anybody. And I think it's somehow really, while you're numb, you can't be this. This is somebody who's powerful in every energy. That Magician card again. All the kings, all the, you know, King of Pentacles, King of Swords, King of Wands, King of Cups. In this one person, they embody it all. I think it was Plato who said, "I am vast, I contain multitudes." This is expansive energy, Jupiter. I think it's Jupiter. Might be Mars. I don't really know but I see this as expansive. Life force. On King of Wands, Page of Wands. So King being the embodiment of, like, I've mastered this. This is kind of a joyful, and I'm seeing that this circle, it's like the wand, you know, when you take a sparkler or something and you go like this, and the trail of light, you can see the circle. It's still kind of burned on your retina. There's something like that. It's like taking the wand in hand. He's taking the wand in hand and he's going like this. It's the wheel. Where did wheel go? Wheel. there's something about the circle. And even in Fool, there's the circle in the water. Almost like phosphorus. You know, when you stir it in the ocean, if you, the little microplankton or whatever they are, light up in the movement. Light up in the movement for the new beginning. And she's, again, this is an energy of joy. She's kicking up her heels. Joy. Joy in Fool. And I notice in this one, she's holding a crystal in her hand in this depiction. So she's leaning out over the edge, ready to go. And that business of the geode, it's in her hand. It's in her hand. He, she, they. And she's leaning, the Fool is leaning in. When I say he, she, you know, it allow the gender thing to be fluid. And I try to, you know, always sort of say that, because but King of Wands is doing something. And it's the wand. I'm sorry, I'm pretty slow. A magician has, among other things, one of his tools is the wand. You know, the ability to manifest, the magician wand. What wasn't here, poof, is now here. And what was here, poof, is now gone. Something's been resolved, let go of. You can move forward. And this is with joy, fire. King of Wands is igniting a fire. And that's all in the energy of Emperor. I mean, it doesn't really get better than this. I don't see how it gets better than this. Not only coming out of numbness, but coming into the sort of the superpower. Into life force, like big time, where you can bring it into your life, King of Wands, and kind of work it, work it, work it with passion. It's the creative force. This is almost like, you know, the universe that creates itself. You know, and there's the star collapses and then it births itself again. Creation, destruction, creation, destruction. I mean, you can't, you don't stay in, it's not a definitive ending, because, you know, once you do that, it comes back to life. It comes back to life, people. More powerful than ever. Empress, Emperor, are you kidding? I mean, it's actually, I'm in awe of this. As one would be with Tower, it's like the awe and the mystery. We have Aries, Gemini, Virgo, Judgment, I don't know. Chariot is Cancer. All the earth signs, all the queens. Scorpio, Leo, Aries, Wheel. Do we need these? No, we're just putting them back. Thank you guys. This was a lovely read. Go forth. Live long. Prosper. You know, this is, we're entering into strawberry moon time. Ripeness. Ripeness is all. Ripeness is all. You know, the fire is back. And I tell you that one card that sort of well, there is Ten of Swords. You know, the ending of the painful cycle. In that same line, we have Fool, Wheel. You know, like so much forward movement. So much forward movement. And the only other kind of sticking point is that Four of Cups, numbness, clarified by Emperor. You know, again, that's the active principle of all the energies. You know, geez, guys, it's looking good, and I'm kind of speechless, so I'll stop now. I'll stop now. The lightning bolt. The lightning bolt. Get ready. It's going to be good. Cracking open that geode to the crystal within. Fools holding it in their hand.